Pangelinan and then Senator Respicio. Any other senator wish to be heard after these two? All right, thank you. Senator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the amendment being offered by the Speaker is certainly consistent with the original legislation. The original legislation required that the material go through the AAA process for the singular purpose of getting it an opportunity for the general public to comment on the printed material itself, so that all of the considerations of our entire community can be gathered, can be sorted, and then can be determined in shaping the printed material itself. And that's what the AAA process would have provided, was the opportunity for members of our community to scrutinize and comment on these printed materials. Because of the decision by the Attorney General, which I tend to disagree with, that it shouldn't be subject to the rulemaking process, there is no opportunity for public comment and for public scrutiny of these materials, which is inconsistent with what every single member of this body voted for in the original legislation, which is to subject it to that so that all members of our community have a voice. And so this would then allow us to provide that voice, provide that opportunity for the community to comment, because if we were just to allow public health to do it, there's no opportunity to comment. And so in that respect, I think this fulfills and accelerates the adoption of the material. Now, if this amendment should pass, I would then ask maybe for a reconsideration of the 120-day timeline for public health to provide those printed materials. In the testimony presented by Mr. Gilliam, he says he has a checklist and he has a brochure. I don't understand why they're hiding it. Why are they not presenting the draft or final? He's saying that all he needs, in the testimony, if you read this, all he needs in order to make this material available to the general public, to those who have a right to this information, as we have determined by law, that they have it already. And all they need is to get the guy who drew the graphics to say, you can use those graphics. But all of the material is done. He says, once he gets that consent by the artist, then everything's approved without any public comment. So why are they hiding it? What are they afraid of? What is public health afraid of by making this material public so that people can look at it and comment? They want to hide it from the legislature. It's certainly not as part of, he's saying we have it, it'll be approved within a matter of minutes after I get the consent of the artist to use the graphics. So why isn't it here? Why wasn't it part of the testimony? Why wasn't it part of the committee report? Why wasn't it part of the public hearing? Why isn't that information being hidden or not being made available to the public? Is it they don't want it, or what is the reason? And I'm very concerned about that, of why it isn't. I asked the committee chair, go get it. If public health is saying they have this document, they have this information, it's all approved, except for the licensing agreement for the graphics, then give it and make it part of the public record at this time, so that when we look at it and act on the bill, then we can see what it is. But it's not here. It's not being presented. What's the reason for that? Why don't we want members of our community whose lives are going to be affected by this to have that access to that information at this time and make it available to our professional community, to the women in our community who's going to face the decision that they're going to be facing if they should decide to find themselves in a situation of this and exercise their right? So I'm quite concerned about that. So if this amendment passes, which is to remain in conformance with the original piece of legislation that every single member of this body supported, is to provide the opportunity for public scrutiny and comment, and they're saying we have it already, then let's pass this, But change that 120 days. Let's take it 15 days. Or let's make it 10 days. Or let's make it 2 hours. That as soon as the governor signs it, within 2 hours, that checklist, the brochure, or whatever it is that they already have developed should be transmitted to this legislature and we move forward at it. Why delay it any longer? It is the delay on this is not a result of the actions of this body. The delay is they're telling us they have all this stuff, but nobody has ever seen it. And everybody has a right to see it. Thank you, and Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.